It says black beans and more, right? I wanted to really come today to really talk about the importance of holistic fitness, right? Holistic fitness. That means your mind, spiritual, your physical, your emotional, your financial, all the things. And one of the things that I learned um, early on, it is exercise helps the mind. Exercise helps you financially because it gives you endurance and energy to go and to do, right? It helps you emotionally because it keeps you from those feelings of I can't, because what has to happen with exercise is you got to be motivated to do it. Can nobody do this for you. You have to do this for yourself. Little backstory on how I really have always been an avid exerciser, even back when I was a teen. And the reason why is because number one, I didn't like my physical form. Even though I was very thin, I somehow felt like, wow, I need to have an hourglass waistline. But baby, that's not how I was built. I wasn't built like that. But I was trying to be like everybody that I saw, and that was cray-cray. And I was 20 years old, thin as a board, trying to get this hourglass. Well, I wasn't physically like that. So I was really, really, really exercising all my life, to get this form that I thought in my mind, this idea that I had in my mind of what a body should look like. And we're all different, and I'm so glad that I understand that now, right? Because I really wasn't liking myself. That was what fueled that. But we must love ourselves and understand that God gives us what He gives us. We just have to take care of it, right? So all my life I've exercised. Then I get to really realizing how important it is when I was in school. When I was in grad school, one of the things that I learned very early on is that I really had a difficult time in school. And most of the reason was because I didn't understand how to learn. I didn't understand my learning style, which is very problematic for many children even today. And parents don't understand it because they don't understand the concept of video, audio, reading, and kinesthetics as well, right? So I struggled. But backstory on how I came into really fueling my exercise was because I said, listen, I have to do this, and I can do this and read and learn and all those things at the same time. So how did I fuel my ability to absorb knowledge? I would not read anything for the first time. How many of y'all remember the BlackBerry? You remember the BlackBerry? The BlackBerry cell phone? Well, I came through all them phases. The bag phone, the flip phone, the BlackBerry, and all the Androids and the iPhones today. So I had this BlackBerry, and I was in grad school. I was overwhelmed because of the rigor of grad school. You got to write. It's research and writing intensive, right? Because you got to give it back. You got to learn it, and then you got to give it back. Or you got to learn it and come up with your own theory, your own clarity, your own understanding. You got to give arguments. You got to defend. You got to do so many things, right? And so when I was going through that process and I had all these papers and things to read, I felt like I couldn't find time to exercise, but I needed it because exercise was something that I absolutely needed in my life. But I was sitting in these rooms just reading and writing and reading and writing. I was like, no, I got to figure out a better way. So I started reading my papers into my BlackBerry phone because, one, I never understood it the first time anyway. I would always have to read it a second and maybe even a third until I really understood what I should be looking for in these research papers, which was the concerns, successes, gaps, and the recommendations on everything, and samples, and look at it through a lens of a research, right? So I will read this information into my phone. Let me get my speed up a little bit. I will read this information into my phone, and then, baby, I will go to the gym and chop it up. Woo-hoo-hoo, me in the gym. I was in it, but you talking about some good learning. And everybody was like, how do you read that paper, read your articles, and walk at the same time? It's something about the way my brain operated. It was something about the way my brain operated. Like I had to be doing something while I was learning something for it to stay, right? So it was just my style, that kinetic style, that thing where you've got to be doing things, right? I told y'all the story the other day about that too, about my typing. Like typing was my favorite subject. Why? Because my fingers was moving. I was doing something. I was doing something. And so anyway, that's the story behind it. And then I realized 2020, this is a long time after I graduated from school. I graduated with my PhD in 2016. And ever since, I have been really locking into this whole thing because I am an example. First of all, a miracle, a sign, and a wonder sent to the earth by God, okay? I know that because had the devil had it his way, I would be dead because I was 2 pounds 6 ounces born in 1963. So that's not a story I'm supposed to be here to tell, right? So nevertheless, 2020 happened and my studies focused on telehealth, telemental health, the use of technology in practice. Interesting how my life evolved, right? And so at the same time, I'm like, okay, outside is sick out there. It's really sick outside. So I'm pointing to outside because I got a bunch of windows. So I said, it's really sick outside. So I don't want to be out there. So I had to figure out how I could create a space where I could exercise at home. Like buying little equipment because you couldn't go to the gym. They closed the gyms down. They closed the churches down. They closed everything down. And I foresee that may happen again. I foresee that may actually happen again, which makes me incredibly grateful to be able to have had the forethought to do something at home, right? Set up a gym. So Christmas before last, I bought myself a treadmill, a nice treadmill, well over $1,000, digital, pro form, with the ability to connect to the iFit Sync, which gives me my numbers and tracks me and all that thing. I don't connect to that because first of all, I don't want people tracking me everywhere, right? So, but I get to, it has, elevation, it has speed, it has incline, it has emergency stop, it has all those things. But I also bought equipment like weights, books for form, things like that I was learning because I had fitness training. Had a fitness trainer, during those times as well when I was in the gym all the time and reading and learning. But I had to incorporate some new habits at home, which was very, very vital. So what I want you all to do is remember that outside be having problems. And what will you do? What will you do if you can no longer go to the gym? Do you have your staircase? Remember, your staircase can be fitness, like a Stairmaster. You can step in place. Put something in your ears and step in place, right? Even if you don't have a treadmill. I just happen to have one, but it takes up a lot of space in my little office. It's actually in my office. And so, which is good because I can get up and if I have to read something, I can actually get on this treadmill and read it and still exercise. So now, not only do we have to take care of our physical, you all know that I've been demonstrating holistic living, community health, and education over here for us to be able to live sustainably, right? If something were to happen, how will you sustain? That is the question I want you to answer for yourself. How will you sustain? I'm showing you the life cycle of foods, how to look at foods a different way, break them down to make some of the products that you've been shopping at the market for, you can actually get from Whole Foods, right? So I'm taking y'all on that journey. You know, it's very, very important that we understand that, but we gotta prepare for the future. If you are not preparing your heart to be in good condition, your body to be in good condition while you are on this journey into 2025 and beyond, I don't know what to tell you, because we must be strong. We must be vigilant. We don't know what you will have to endure in the days to come. So it's very, very critical that you not only, you know, remember that there's 6 sides to this thing. You know, there's food, there's your spiritual, there's your physical, there's your financial, there's your mental, your emotional, and what's the other one? There's 6. Spiritual, physical, mental, emotional. Right, I think I got them all. Okay, so, you know, we have to really make sure that we are getting to this thing, you know. So I'm on a challenge right now with some of my friends, some of my investor friends. So baby, here you go. Here you go. One for the books, y'all. I'm doing it. My duty for today. And guess what? I didn't miss a beat because I knew I had to come here live. And I said, well, this is a good time to not only meet the challenge, but it's also to come and share with you why this is important, right? Like real time. Because one of the things I want you all to make sure you're doing is take away something from my videos. Why are you doing what you're doing, Dr. Eve? What is the concern that you have, right? What are the successes that you've had in doing what you're telling us we need to do, right? Are you modeling what you're telling us we need to do, or are you just sitting there telling us this is what we need to do, right? Then where are the gaps? Like gaps would be something like you don't have access to a gym. So what happens when you don't? So what recommendations can I give you? I gave you recommendations. You can walk in place. You can use your staircase. You can walk around your apartment building. You can walk around your house. You can walk around the block. That's if the outside ain't sick though, y'all, because there's going to come a time when we might not be able to do that, right? So what are you going to do? How are you going to move and shake? Are you preparing your body to do what it needs to do? The other thing is, I wanted to tell y'all about my black beans. So I made the most delicious black bean dish last night, a mixture. Black beans, because y'all, we gotta have our, first of all, why black beans? Any type of bean, fibrous, the fiber keeps your system doing what it needs to do, right? We must have the fiber and the protein from beans, and the fiber is like no other, right? When you don't have meat, baby, you got beans. Figure out some good recipes. Did I stop it? Dang. I pulled something. Oh. Dang. Okay, he's back. Man. Keep going. Come on. So, that fiber will replace any meats that you don't have. So it's good to have. Plus, beans can be stored. Think about it. Even if you want to still, let's just do like this too, because you can cook beans and put them in the freeze dryer and put them in Mylar bags, and they already be done. You don't have to wait for how you're going to cook them, right? You can pre-cook them, put them into a form, a powder form, and maybe come back and mix up some already made. Slap it on that grill, right? Slap it on that grill with a little oil, little olive oil drizzle on it, and you already got a made burger, right? So we have to plan. We got to be real strategic in the planning for access to things. So today, y'all, that mixture was so good. I'm making black bean quesadillas, and let me tell you what the mixture consisted of. some cooked black beans that I put in the refrigerator because I had a lot of things going on in my kitchen. Y'all know I be in the kitchen stirring up stuff. And so I stored them away. Yesterday I put them in my blender with some green peppers, some onions, and some garlic, some cumin, some breadcrumbs, and some egg. And y'all, put a little olive oil in one of my little black cast iron skillets and mix that up, and it's ready to go. So now today I'm going back for lunch, and I'm going to make a quesadilla with some good old butter. Yes, put it between that quesadilla, and baby, we're gonna have some lunch, okay? So you can freeze these things. You can freeze dry your mixture, reconstitute it later. That's another way to do it as well, so that you already have the mixture already ready, which is a part of my plan. You can also have it, once you have it all done and ready to go, you can also, I'm thinking, what was my other thought about them black beans? I have so many thoughts about the black beans, but that's one way. And again, my goal is to get some of it cooked up because I have a lot of beans. I actually love beans. I always have. It's a staple food in my house. My mother taught us well. You hear me? We learned some things about survival when we were kids, because when my parents separated, it was always about survival. It was always about survival. And so being able to think back on, how it was and where we are and what we need to be doing to stay sustainable, so that we're always we're being sustainable. Because I watched this movie last night called The Day After. That movie, y'all, was wild. When I tell you it was wild, to think that people had to get into these cellars if they had one. We don't all have bunkers. We don't all have cellars. We don't all have, these built-in homes with cellars or places of hideaway. We don't all have that. And, I think about it like, what do we do when we don't have it, right? What do we do if conditions, worsen, and we need to figure that out. So anyway, if you haven't watched the movie The Day After, it's on YouTube. Watch it. It was a very good movie. It was made in the 1983. And it gave a very good depiction of what happens when two countries come against each other, nuclear. It gave a very good depiction of that. So if you want a good movie to watch The Day After. And make sure that you are getting this fitness, right? I'm up to, I don't know how many miles right now. It looks like 1.5. So I do a lot of work, so I'm always physical anyway. All summer I was in the garden. I was doing work. I was using muscles I didn't even know I had. I was digging dirt and building things. But it's wintertime now. It's wintertime, and I have to get these steps in, make sure that I'm continuing to build up the muscle mass to endure, because strength is what you're going to need. Spiritual strength, physical strength, emotional strength, financial strength. You're going to need the strength you need to make it through these next days. So I encourage everyone to make sure you're doing what you need to do to sustain. This is your host, Dr. Eve, right here on TOLTM Conversations, where we're talking about redefining well-being as the highest form of equity that we might be able to sustain in the days ahead. If you're not watching my videos, please go back and check them out. We talk about growing food, staying fit, all the things that will keep us sustainable in the days to come. Peace and blessings. For now, go and have the most amazing day. And whatever you do, don't let anyone get in the way on your journey to becoming who God has called you to become. And remember, what did he ask you to do last? Focus on that so you can get your next set of orders from the Lord. Peace.